What's going on, everyone? I'm just a typical, average American here today to react and continue learning about things Brits do that Americans do not. Part 2. If you have not seen part 1, feel free to go check that out or stay right here in part 2. That's perfectly fine as well. But in part 1, I started learning some very interesting things that are going on over in Britain, including cricket. The playing of the cricket. Now, don't get me wrong, most Americans have at least heard of the name cricket, the sport, but that is where it ends. Americans don't know anything about cricket, except maybe it's kind of like baseball to us, but imagine my shock. In part 1, I had to look it up. And actually, cricket is like the second most watched sport in the world. It's the second most popular sport after football. I couldn't believe it. That made me think that like maybe us Americans are like the weird ones. From our point of view, we think cricket is strange, but apparently the rest of the world is just loving cricket, and we're the weird ones that are like, what is cricket again? How do you pronounce that? Cricket? Or yeah, it just makes me feel like we're out of touch or something. And in part 1, there were some other things. Eurovision, yeah, for sure. No one in America knows what Eurovision is. Ending texts with an X was interesting. I had a lot of thoughts on that one. And beans for breakfast, I had a lot of thoughts on. Certainly not something that we do over here in America, but that being said, I'm very interested to complete the end of this video and learn a couple more things that Brits do that Americans like myself just don't. You know, it's fascinating learning about the differences between our two cultures, so I'm kind of ready to be surprised and shocked and who knows what. So let's take a look.
Leaving cheese and meat sitting out of the refrigerator. This is something we noticed when we first visited the UK, was that Brits...
Wait, stop, I gotta pause this. Leaving cheese and meat out of the refrigerator. By leaving cheese and meat out of the refrigerator, does that mean leaving cheese and meat out of the refrigerator? But honestly, it doesn't make any sense to me. How is the meat and cheese different in Britain somehow? How does it not go bad? How does it not spoil? Or is this some kind of conspiracy here in America? Like, do we not need to be refrigerating all of our meat and cheese? In America, it is very, very widely accepted and known that you have to refrigerate your cheese and your meat, maybe even put it in the freezer if you want to wait a while. But the idea of leaving it out, like, worries me. Can't it get, I don't know, like, contaminated or something? Or salmonella? Or, I don't know how the science works. Is this just, have us Americans, like, have we misunderstood something here? How is this possible?
Would leave meat pies or wheels of cheese just sitting out on their counter for hours at a time.
Mm-hmm. All day, and then
Really?
people would just, walk by and slice some of it off and eat it. But it would just be sitting there.
And that was something that was really shocking because you always refrigerate meat and cheese in the States.
Yeah. Is it certain types of meat or cheese, or... I actually want to look this up. I have to know. Okay, number 1 answer, according to Google AI. Yes, you should refrigerate meat and cheese to prevent bacteria. Right, yeah. Wait, what? So, Google, at least here in America, immediately says you have to. Deli meat, you can leave at room temperature under 2 hours. Refrigerate uncured meats. Uncut young ripened cheese can last refrigerated for a week. Is that what we're talking about? Uncut young ripened cheese? I don't even know what that means. Maybe there's just different meats and cheeses in Britain that we're talking about here. I don't quite understand.
States like all the time. You would only take it out if you were going to eat it right then, and then you'd put it back in the refrigerator as soon as you were done.
Yeah.
And at least when it comes to cheese, we found out that there's a reason for this, which we didn't know this before. While we were in the UK, there was this cheese shop in Bath, which is so incredible. As we've mentioned in other videos, we were in Bath for 5 days, and every single one of those days, we bought over 200 grams of cheese from this cheese shop and ate it for dinner.
This just also makes me wonder if is cheese just more popular in Britain as well? Because we don't have dedicated cheese shops just, lying around here in most parts of the United States. So maybe cheese is just on a whole nother level in Britain. And the cheese technology is just way ahead, light years ahead. You can leave it out and it doesn't get bacteria, or I just don't understand.
Oh, it was so good.
So good. We became friends with one of the employees that was there during that time, and he educated us about cheese and let us know that, when you're eating cheese, you want to let it out and get to room temperature because that really brings out the flavor in the cheese. Whereas if you just pull it out of the fridge, chop it up and eat it, it's not going to have as much of a spectrum of flavor as it would if you let it sit out for a few hours and then.
Oh, wait a minute. Us Americans don't even know what good cheese tastes like, apparently. Because we're just out here freezing our cheese because we're scared of getting salmonella or some bacteria. And we're not even living because we have, because people really do grab cheese, cut it up, take it out of the fridge, eat it. And you're actually supposed to let it warm up to room temperature to bring out the flavor. We're just a bunch of savages over here. We don't even know how to appreciate our cheese, I'm learning.
While most food can only be at room temperature for a maximum of 4 hours before it goes bad, we found out that cheese can be left out at room temperature for much longer. Like, 8 hours or something?
Yeah, about 8 hours. Yeah. Mm-hmm. But then
Okay. So you can leave cheese out for up to 8 hours. I didn't know that. Then, is the idea that you're going to eat all the cheese? Because you're not... Can you leave it out 8 hours, then put it back in the fridge, and everything's okay? And then you can bring it back out, and it can stay out for 8 more hours? Infinite cheese hack right there. I don't know the specifics of this, but I am learning something here about cheese, which I did not expect.
when it comes to the meat, I don't really have an explanation for that one.
Yeah. No, because if you leave meat, especially, bacteria will begin to grow there.
Yeah, so I'm not sure why people leave the meat sitting out that long. Maybe with meat pie, specifically we saw it happening with cured meats, salami, stuff like that as well.
Cured meats, right, cured meats. You don't run across cured meats too often. Some Americans like it, I'm sure. Those meats, I do feel like it would be okay to leave those out. Sausages and whatnot. I don't know why, but it feels okay to leave those out. You see that during the holidays a little more here in America. Is that mostly what we're talking about? We're not talking about leaving out like a steak on the kitchen counter for like 13 hours. And then we're not talking about that, I think.
As well as meat pies, which we've mentioned in other videos. We didn't like the jelly
meat
pies.
Pie.
But
meat pie I can't even relate to, but maybe something about making a pie with meat makes it more tolerable to sitting out for a longer amount of time, I guess. I have to make some assumptions here, so it's starting to make a little sense to me.
We're gonna come back and we're gonna eat jelly-free pies in order to learn to like it, but we probably won't eat it if it's been sitting out all day.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, but I guess there might be something where with those specific kinds of meat, maybe, they don't go bad as quickly. If you know the answer to that, do let us know. Because it's kind of weirding us out seeing all this meat sitting around the UK.
Yeah, that's such a random and kind of curious difference to me. Maybe Americans are just more paranoid? Or maybe Brits have like different cuts of meat and different ways of preparing it and pies that make it okay to leave it out longer. That would make more sense to me than some kind of grand misunderstanding where Americans are just terrified of leaving our meat out. Certain types of meat you probably have to refrigerate, and certain types you can leave out. That's what I'm getting from this. Okay, it makes a little more sense to me.
Wearing paper crowns on Christmas Day. So this one is very new for me. I only heard about this.
Paper crowns. Paper crowns. Is this a Christmas thing? When did this start? This a paper crown. I mean, that does sound kind of like fun. Is that something to do with like British royalty or something? Why is that? That is interesting. A paper crown for Christmas. I'd love to know the history behind this.
This tradition a few weeks ago when someone mentioned it in our comment section, wearing paper hats, crowns specifically on Christmas.
Okay.
And I still don't know why. Does it have to do with the Magi?
No, actually, I did read a little bit about this, and
Okay.
I've heard that people believe that it comes from the ancient Romans and how they used to wear crowns to celebrate a holiday that was going on around that time of year, which I thought was really neat.
Wow, it's from ancient Romans, and not because they wore crowns, but they also wore holiday crowns as well. That's pretty cool. It's a pretty cool tradition. Why can't we have fun little traditions like this here in America? I mean, we have, you might get a silly Santa Claus hat or something, but I feel like that exists in Britain as well. But Britain also has paper crowns, and we don't. We don't have any equivalent to that. Yeah, no equivalent to that. I'm a little jealous.
Wow.
And these hats or crowns are inside of Christmas crackers, is what I've also read.
What's a
Christmas cracker? Like a cracker you eat at Christmas? Hold up. First of all, I need some assistance here. I need to see a paper crown. What do these look like? Okay, like this? Wow, some of these are kind of fancy. Oh, here we go. This looks more... Would this be about right? Like actual paper. Like soft, flimsy paper crowns. Having a silly fun time at the holidays. Now we're talking about crackers. Which I immediately associate with, like the food. A cracker that you eat.
Hats or crowns are inside of Christmas crackers, is what I've also read.
What's a Christmas cracker? Or you mean like a cookie?
No! No. Have you never done Christmas crackers?
No.
Okay, they're not common in the States. I only did it once when I
No?
was hosting an old-fashioned Christmas party. So Christmas cracker is like a tube, and it's like wrapped.
Hold up. Christmas cracker. Right! Oh, yes, okay. Oh, I remember this. This is a very British thing. Oh my, these things. The paper. It's funny that they're called crackers. I guess it's because they crack open. And they might make a sound, like a little crack, or... That's right. I think last Christmas, I learned a little bit about British Christmas. And this came up. Christmas crackers. I bet I made that mistake last time as well. It's not the thing you eat. It's not a food. It's a thing you pull apart at two ends. That cracks. A very British thing. Right, I totally forgot this was even a thing. Okay.
In fancy wrapping paper, and apparently it kind of makes the reason it's called a cracker is because it makes this sound when it's opened.
Right.
And so you have two people, and you would hold on to one end, and I hold on to the other. And you
pull?
pull.
Oh, well, maybe that's we do have something like that in the States that we do for New Year's. I've seen those where you pull them, bam, and then makes smoke and like confetti flies out.
Oh.
So
I've never seen that before, not even at New Year's. Usually the American New Year's fireworks stuff is so powerful, like, you don't want to be holding it when you blow it up. Like, seriously, the stuff they let us fire off here in America is kind of wild for New Year's, but it's also kind of fun between you and me. I've never seen anything like a British Christmas cracker in real life, ever. I don't really think there is not an American equivalent. Maybe this American has somehow ran into something at a fireworks store that was like this, but like, make no mistake, there's no Christmas crackers here in America. I had heard about this once. I forgot because they're just not a thing here. This is a really cool, fun British thing. now that I remember. This is like, I'm actually kind of jealous of these. I feel like this is a super fun little holiday thing that apparently they have paper crowns inside of. There's just a couple more fun British Christmas and British holiday things, is what I'm learning, that we don't have here in America. And I'm a bit jealous, I'll be honest.
So Christmas crackers, there's number 7 things that we don't.
Yeah, surprise! Bonus one!
I'm gonna find a clip of a Christmas cracker being opened. I wanna see it. Okay, here we go. Here's a couple random people opening a Christmas cracker.
Too late. Ready?
Oh.
One.
Okay.
Wow.
Okay. Not as violent as I would have thought. Actually, maybe by design, it just makes a noise. Doesn't actually explode open like I hoped, which is probably for the best, honestly. So you tear it apart, one side kind of pops open, and then you can reach into this tube and get all this like fun Christmas stuff, like paper crowns. Very cool. That's actually super nice. I like it a lot.
Christmas crackers seems like a really fun tradition. Do you guys, Is that a common one in the UK? Is it something everyone can expect to do at Christmas time, is do the Christmas cracker?
That's a good thought, actually. This feels like it would be pretty common. Like, cause is this something, am I right? That's my, like, intuition. This is something, it seems simple enough. You can buy a couple, leave them around the Christmas tree. Do you open them during presents, or is it in your stocking? Or I guess there are a couple details I don't know.
That's really cool. But another thing I'm noticing is that whenever they pull these apart, there's a joke or something inside. Is that part of the tradition?
There's a joke. The paper crown and a funny little Christmas joke. Wow, what more could you ask for?
And this is where we're gonna end today's video.
Okay, and there you have it. That was really fun, actually. I didn't know there were so many pretty cool things, like, in Britain that British people do, that for some reason we just don't get to take part in over here in America. That's how I view it now, that we're missing out on some stuff. Just quickly going through this, the cricket, the cricket, although I feel like Americans would be kind of hopeless at cricket and like learning the rules, and I think we're set in our ways as far as sports go, but it'd be super cool to see cricket live, like just experience that for the first time. Eurovision, oh man, by definition, America is just excluded from Eurovision, makes me very sad. Ending the texts with an X, I mean, I don't think we're gonna do that anytime soon either. Beans for breakfast, not gonna happen. Leaving cheese and meat out, not gonna happen. Christmas crowns and Christmas crackers. Those are cool things we could adopt. But now that I look at the list, it's a whole bunch of stuff that, although cool, I don't see it happening or gaining traction here in America anytime soon. But that's okay. That's kind of the beautiful thing, that our cultures are different and have our unique little things that we do. That's kind of the cool thing about this crazy world. So I actually enjoyed this quite a bit. Anyway, if you enjoyed this as well, feel free to give this video a like or leave a comment, perhaps with your thoughts on any of these things that Brits do that us Americans don't. And if you're interested in more videos like this, me reacting to Britain and British culture, feel free to subscribe for more. And until then, thanks for watching, and see you next time.